everyone. And after that great start off from Dr. Noss, I'm going to carry us on into our agenda today. I'd like to begin this morning taking a look at how we consider natural areas. Today, I encourage all of us to consider natural areas very broadly as habitats that harbor rare species or significant natural communities where natural processes and native species predominate. Goals for managing these habitats include protection of natural communities and rare species, restoration of native species diversity through interventions such as invasive species management or various forms of disturbance management, such as prescribed fire. An additional goal for managing natural areas includes as places for learning through education, sustainable recreation, and field research. Two key themes of today's symposium include resilience and nature-based solutions to climate change. Resilience in this capacity, refers to an ecosystem's ability to function after some perturbation or disturbance affects that function. Biodiversity, and as Reed said, its constituent wheels and cogs, begets resilience and is the raw material for the nature-based solutions that we're here to consider. Moreover, biodiversity builds capacity for ecosystems to resist or adapt to change. And lastly, our management of species richness and evenness is one means by which we may direct change affecting resilience in the future. Natural areas play several important roles in our response to climate change. First, as Reed previously mentioned, these are relatively natural places within which we may monitor change under situations of relatively low anthropogenic interference. Secondly, and perhaps most relevant to today, natural areas are places where we can synergistically manage for biodiversity and carbon sequestration in order to build climate resilience. So the following ideas that I plan to share with you in my short presentation this morning represent my own thoughts as a steward and a practitioner on the application of the relevant peer-reviewed science to stewardship and land management. So these are very much meant as ideas for your consideration, not maxims. My hope is that the ideas that I share with you, such as these this morning, in concert with the rich content from our excellent speakers, helps us kindle a rich and open discussion during our time together throughout the Q&As and the panel discussion at the end. The first stewardship action idea I'd like to share with you for your consideration is based upon the theory of niche efficiency, which hypothesizes that diverse ecosystems, such as we have in abundance here in the Central Appalachians, have higher net primary productivity than less diverse systems for several reasons. One is these diverse systems have fuller utilization of limiting resources such as water, nitrogen, and even space. And second, because of the direct effects herbaceous diversity have been shown to have on tree recruitment, nutrient cycling, and soil tilth. Several recent studies of northern forests have found that a 1% decline in understory plant diversity corresponds with a reduction in overstory tree productivity. This is one example of niche efficiency. My application of this theory to our work in stewardship is to manage overabundant species, to increase species evenness and diversity for the benefit of primary productivity. Concurrently, an important stewardship action idea I'd like you to consider is that it's important to communicate that management to conserve or restore diversity in the forest will also affect productivity in that forest. Invasive species management is often considered an important tool for plant community restoration objectives. However, in the forests of the Central Appalachians, there are several invasive tree species which also happen to have lower concentrations of the abundant and decay-resistant polymer lignin, and therefore may be inferior carbon sinks. Two examples of this include princess tree, shown in these two photographs in a treated area within a natural area preserve in Western Virginia, and tree of heaven. So in addition to aggressive management of these invasive trees for the reasons that we're all familiar with, we can communicate with our stakeholders that invasive plant management in these systems is also carbon management. And those arrows are highlighting injected capsules that we use to very effectively manage these invasive trees with little non-target effects. Next, I'd like to bring up the dilution hypothesis relevant to disease ecology in forests. The dilution hypothesis predicts that disease transmission reduces, intraspecific disease transmission reduces, as distances between individuals of the same species increase. Thus, forest management actions which increase species evenness in the forest may help forests better resist and recover from disease, protecting their primary production. A diverse and growing and frankly fascinating body of research recognizes the unique values of large old trees and forests with old growth conditions. Specifically, new research has found that most species of North American trees actually sequester more carbon per year as they age. Additionally, older forests may contain these mother trees, as they've been called by Dr. Simard, which are carbon-fixing hubs in a mycorrhizally mediated network, transporting messages and materials within the forest, thereby increasing forest resilience. Inspired by these studies done by Simard and others, I recently worked with a team of Virginia Tech seniors to map, measure, and monitor every single mother tree within a small natural area preserve near Blacksburg, Virginia, as part of with the purpose being to set up a long-term monitoring study and for facilitating the prioritization of future management actions spatially within the preserve, such as invasive species management near suspected mother trees. Forest soils hold massive amounts of organic carbon, disproportionately in excess from what you would expect based upon the amount of global land area they occupy. Additionally, these forest soils support the aforementioned mycorrhizal networks that are important for forest resilience. Activities that physically disrupt, disturb, or compact these soils may damage fungal hyphae and fine roots in the soils, reducing root and fungal biomass, while also potentially disrupting the mycorrhizal networks that are so important for forest resilience. So recognizing the importance of maintaining parts of the forest in mineral soil state for fire line safety and support of prescribed fire management, there are several soil-friendly approaches that we use here in the Virginia Natural Heritage Program for maintaining fire lines with minimal soil disturbance. Those include the use of pre-emergent herbicides to maintain open vegetation-free fire lines without disking, as well as the repurposing of existing hiking trails, such as shown in the photograph on the left, where organic matter is simply blown off of the hiking trail. So these are two good examples of managing mineral soil fire lines necessary for prescribed fire management without relying on disking, which can be damaging for the soil ecosystem. Additionally, recognizing the importance of soil as a carbon sink also reemphasizes the importance of avoiding the operation of heavy equipment, such as during logging operations shown in the right photograph, on wet soils to protect their capacity to sequester carbon. There are multiple types of organic matter within the soil, and in these forests, about 14% of that organic carbon or of that organic matter is found in the form of pyrogenic carbon or charcoal. Pyrogenic carbon or charcoal is highly resistant to decomposition back to carbon dioxide, and thus can function as a very long carbon sink in the soil carbon. Other recent research has found that fire behavior in wildland fire affects charcoal production, with lower intensity backing fires producing the most pyrogenic carbon. The clear management implication here is that burn plans, as well as firing techniques designed for producing lower intensity fires, may optimize soil, charcoal, or pyrogenic carbon production, with benefits for carbon sequestration in these forests. deleterious effects of high deer populations on forests is not a new topic in forest management in the Central Appalachians. What may be new and relevant to today's discussions is that high deer populations may also be reducing carbon sequestration capacity in these forests, both through a direct reduction in tree regeneration through browsing, as well as through chemical and biological changes in the soil, resulting in greater CO2 emissions from forest soils. So, in addition to considering deer management as an important tool for plant conservation and forest health, it could also be considered a tool for carbon sequestration management in Central Appalachian forests. I'd like to begin to conclude my short presentation with you all this morning by suggesting that natural areas within the forests of the Central Appalachians are excellent places to study and implement nature-based solutions to climate change. These forests contain numerous rich ecosystems with a long history of management, which in retrospect is a testament to their resilience. Science-based stewardship of these forests today can enhance their resistance to ongoing climate change, build their capacity to adapt to climate change to come, and potentially enable us to direct changes to best protect and maximize future resilience of these ecosystems. And while we're here today to share and learn from the rigorous empirical efforts of our many speakers, I'd like to end this morning on a personal, subjective note with a reminder that these forests are also awe-inspiring places for present and future generations to enjoy, and will be enjoyed if we care for them and manage them in the best way we can. So with that, I'd like to thank you all for being here.